จะไม่ถามว่าเหตุใด
I won't ask why
ทำไมต้องจากกัน
we have to leave each other.
จะไม่ทวงความผูกพันที่เคย
I won't demand the bond that we used to
จะ
have.
ไม่ยื้อไม่ขัดขวาง
I will not delay or obstruct because I understand very well
ว่าชีวิตคนย่อมมี
that in life there will be days when one's mind changes.
ฟ้าดินคงกำหนดมาให้เป็นเวลา
Heaven and earth must have decreed that this would be the time for a new person. So she has no feelings left for me. But I want you to know this, that I am still worried. Always worried with every breath. If that person is really good, I am also glad. I want you to have a bright life, more than today. MD-68.4 Thoughts. I have said before that all merit that is invited to be built only once, there is no tearing down and rebuilding. Those who like to secretly do it before telling later are not good people. At Mongkorn 01 January 4th, 2025, the previous clip tells about the demolition of the glass island of the heavenly pagoda of Grandma Thongsuk Samdong Pan, which was completed, leaving only the spire of the lotus bud. According to the model of 01 who invited her children to build, which was changed from a pink lotus shape to a golden lotus shape. During the COVID-19 period, it was dismantled, leaving only the core and base. It is shocking how they could do that with the donated money of the hosts. The hosts made merit to build a pink lotus-shaped pagoda as 01 invited them to do. But they dismantled it and then saw the construction of a new style until it was almost finished in 2022. During the Dhamma Yatra, there was an announcement inviting people to make merit by building a pagoda at this glass island. Claiming that 01 was the one who changed the model because it was seen as incompatible with the Great Hall of Grandma Teacher and the Tripitaka Ordination Hall. When there were voices of dissent, there was an invitation to build 24 Buddha statues to be enshrined in 2 rows in each direction, and all 4 were there. When there were objections or doubts that it was not really 01's idea, there was verbal encouragement in the manner of saying that it was Luang Por 01's pagoda, the first and only pagoda. To encourage the hosts to be afraid of missing the opportunity to build a pagoda related to 01, so they almost completely overlooked all the irregularities to gain this great merit. Considering each step of the plan and the stimulation of donations, each period clearly shows the intention of the project manager to raise funds with hidden meaning. The real person behind it clearly said that in order to achieve the goal of receiving a 70% share to the higher-ups, they did everything they could. Even to the point of lying and claiming 01 without any truth. And the method that likes to do first and tell 01 later is a method that 06 often did with 01 since he was still at the temple. Because 06 often suggested something to 01 and 01 always rejected or disagreed. But 06 wanted to win, so 01 took the opportunity to do the cheating method, which was to claim that 01 had already agreed or that 01 was the one who told him to do it. For any task that he wanted to do, he would just do it first and then tell 01 later because he believed that when 01 saw that it had been done, he would not refuse because he would care about the host and the donations from the host who had joined in making merit and building it, that he had already done it like that. Which is a very bad habit that 01 was annoyed with every time he encountered 06's cheating method, who dared to do it even with 01, without 06 caring how he felt about it. 06 was only interested in how to make him get what he wanted. It had been like this since 2003 when 06 started asking the host to build his cow Q Sadet. The method of doing it first and telling 01 later will always lead to success and prosperity. It has become a bad habit that O6 uses with everyone because he sees that it always works. It shows that he has no heart, no virtue, does not think about others and wants to get what he wants without caring about whether the method is appropriate or not, and does not want to be rejected by anyone. Even with an abbot like O1, he must have a better reason. If O6 presents his needs to O1 and O1 supports or rejects, he must have a good reason so that O6 can learn good things from O1. Not using the method of forcing his hands by doing it in advance and then telling him so that he will not be rejected and always get what he wants. But O6 chooses to focus only on the results he wants and does not care that O1 is the highest leader of the group. He should respect and listen to any opinions from O1 for the sake of learning like a good person should be. But O6 chooses to refuse to learn and does not want to be disappointed in what he wants. So he uses the method of doing it first and telling him later. Before doing it, he tells the workers to believe that O1 told him to do it. He uses the method of deceiving people into believing and doing it first by claiming that O1 told him to do it, but in reality, there is no acknowledgement from O1 about whether he will actually do it or not. It is cheating from the thought to the speech and the actual action. O6 always does this, which results in O6 never having to dismantle or discard what he has done before reporting to O1 even once. It becomes his arrogance that doing this always gives him results, and he doesn't have to waste time asking for permission from O1 first. In any case, doing it first will get what he wants. This is not the way a good person does it, showing O6's bad nature all along. And it becomes the way he does it all the time with everything he wants from the temple or even from O2. O6 does the same thing, which is cheating, deceiving, claiming first until it seems like this is the way he will always succeed and is the way he always does it. Looking back at the great Dhammakaya Sitya, does it fall into this category? They just came to ask for merit to create gold for the personal Dhammakaya Buddha to be gold all over the Sitya. But in fact it has already been done. If the Sitya looks beautiful and golden all over now, they will polish it off to spray gold paint again in the next 3 months according to the plan for asking for merit on New Year's Day. It is like doing redundant work, dismantling and polishing it off too soon, which is an unnecessary waste, isn't it? And if this work has been done on the pagoda before, where did the budget come from? And this fundraising, is it really to give 70% to the higher being without actually paying for the restoration work, as just mentioned this time? Because it has already been done using the budget from the reserved donations or not. These are observations that I would like to invite O1's children to use their wisdom to consider based on proper and appropriate reasons. What should it be like? If it were O1's time, would he do it like this or like that? As a true child of the Dhamma like Kiamtawan, I have worked for O1, the hidden dragon, for many years. Before that, I was a student of Anuban Fanfan Witaya for many years. I would like to confirm that the method that the temple is doing in every new merit-making project, and those that did not make merit but did it first for any construction that was already made merit, and then made merit later. The demolition of the thing built with the donations of the host, completed or almost completed. Then decorated and added to as desired until it became distorted like the island of the heavenly pagoda. Which the original intention of O1 was to build a pagoda to enshrine the relics of Grandma Thongsuk Sampangpan, which would be the only pagoda related to the first master of Dhammakaya. Was covered up, demolished, and changed to suit the wishes of someone. At this point, it can be said that it was the wish of O6 himself, who wanted to follow the wishes of the higher being, the princess or not. Therefore, let it be done first and then ask for merit later. And to demolish from the original form that O1 wanted to build and offer to Grandma Thongsuk Sampangpan. and avoid any arguments by claiming that it was the wish of O1 himself who changed the form and turned it into a pagoda of O1 as well, without any answer as to how the small pagoda of Grandma Thongsuk that O1 wanted to build disappeared. And this kind of incident shows that there is no way that it was O1's wish to do this. But it is clearly O6's habit, but he keeps claiming that it is O1's wish all the time, just to make everything finish as O6 wants it all the time. Therefore, he always pretends to be O1's order without any truth from O1's side. O6's actions in this way are called lying, a sin that has been continuously violated the fourth precept until it becomes a habit. Cheating on donated money to do whatever he wants before telling relatives and devotees to make merit. But agreeing with the higher-ups to divide 70% by lying that O1 has agreed to divide it is intentional, deceiving the higher-ups. Furthermore, pretending to anyone that what is given to be done has been approved by O1 or saying that O1 wants it to do this or that is an intentional lie until it becomes a habit. In the same way, O1's real self has never known what O6 thinks, says or does with the temple work. This is called cheating until it becomes a habit. Is it called being a good person or not? Is it called having good intentions or not? Since he is not a good person, it is not a good intention that makes everything that O6 invites to do come out as a dishonest intention or evil intention from the beginning. This results in all merits and all creations made using this method of O6 becoming sins, and sins because karma has intentions that indicate whether it is merit or sin. If the intention is pure or wholesome intentions, the result will be merits. But if it is a dishonest intention or unwholesome intentions, the result will be sins. Therefore, every project from 2019 until today and up to the project to worship the Dharma for 81 years of O1 on April 22, 2025, which will arrive in another 4 months, came from the unwholesome intentions of O6 to aim to make a 70% share for the higher-up, Kumari as the initial intention. Therefore, the merit that will come together to do as the teacher invited on New Year's Day has become a sin result by default. Because of this reason, everyone, therefore, whoever wants to do or not to make this merit as the teacher said or not, it is up to everyone's heart and wisdom to consider and ponder carefully whether we are making merit for the sake of merit or we are making sins for the sins of someone who receives the 70% share. And don't forget that whenever we join in doing sinful work, they will discard all the accumulated merit, whether much or little, before accepting the sin into their body. This is the case every time. And whenever a saint makes a truly meritorious act, such as offering rice to the Buddha on the first Sunday of the month, they will discard the sin they have received in order to accept the white merit back into their body again. This continues. If most of O1's children are not aware of this truth, everyone will be at risk of their lives at any time, because if the temple has to bear the burden of finding a 70% share for the higher-ups until they are satisfied. As O6 has hung around the temple's executive committee, O6 will constantly think of and propose new projects for the temple. Everything that is done according to the new projects will become sin every time because the initial intention is dishonest or bad karma that led to it. This sinful burden will become the duty of the monks and temple people, both the inner region who have to follow orders without knowing anything, and the outer region who support according to the invitations that O1 makes use of or claims to worship the Dhamma every time O1 makes. Their souls will be black with sin all the time until they can join in receiving the merit of offering rice to the Buddha on the first Sunday of the month. It means that everyone will be able to just keep themselves alive and breathing day by day. To earn money for the higher beings only. There will not be enough merit left to bring happiness and prosperity to oneself and relatives and the surrounding society. And throughout a month with 30 days, one will only gain merit on one day, which is the first Sunday of the month. If you come to join in making merit, the other 29 days are the process of committing sins in each new project according to the season that will occur consistently like a regular job that must be carried. It is like having to pay tribute to the Mafia that will harm everyone if one day the share is not as much as the Mafia wants, right? Think about it. Venerable Iraq once said, "The merit of a person who has built up merit is not enough for a fool." That's why the Lord Buddha said that the first blessing in life is not to associate with a fool. It is easy to understand that what a fool wants must be obtained. If they can't get it, they will use force to hurt or threaten to kill, forcing good people to give in, or they may lose their lives. When they give in to a fool once, it means that the method that the fool uses to threaten is effective. Do you think that a fool will be satisfied with what they receive every day without change? When what the fool gives in to is defilement that lies dormant in the fool's mind, and if the fool does not think to purify his defilement, defilement will grow and be needed more and more. Just like getting the food that he needs. Therefore, if defilement flourishes, a fool will want more. A fool only threatens again because he is confident that no matter how much he wants something, he must get it. Because those who give in are afraid of threats, it becomes a method to gain and gain as he pleases. Otherwise, he would have to use force. Let's compare it to what the temple had to do according to 06 in the past several years. Since 06 joined hands with the higher-up, Kumari to take the criminal case of harassing 01 to be removed from the position of abbot since 2016 and successfully cut off the power to order in the middle of 2018. Then, there were new projects that had never happened before since the end of 2018 continuously. But it became clear after 2021 with the Zoom system and the emergence of a new group of believers in October 2021. Teaching Dhamma via YouTube and having a special classroom that the teacher told the students who were mainly respected temple people who came to listen to the teaching. What was said was that 06 was the representative of the higher-up, Kumari, to negotiate with 01 to agree to give the temple and branches to the higher-up to resolve old karma and to agree to share 70% of the assets to donate to him. And 06 said that the negotiation was successful, meaning 01 agreed to this. So he told the temple people who came to listen to this group not to go back to make merit at the temple and the temple's branches anymore. To gather together and go find a place to build a new temple. Speaking like this shows that the information was truly known by the temple by 06, not just a normal news leak. When the story of dividing 70% to the higher-ups is true, it means that the status of the higher-ups is like the owner of the temple, even though the truth is that 01 or any monks, including 06, have no right to give the temple and its branches, including the donated money that the relatives and devotees have made merit for Buddhism, and cannot be divided with anyone. Even 01 himself once asked for a share of the donated money, and 01 refused because he could not. 01 saw that it was a great sin, so he did not give it. When it is clearly stated that it is a serious announcement to the members, it shows that the temple has allowed 06 to do as he was told. This means that the real 01 is no longer at the temple, because if 01 were there, he would not give it to anyone. And 06 did not speak to the real 01 about this matter either. Because from those of us who have been following the story from Mongkorn Songkai since August 2018, we clearly know that 01 really left the temple since February 2, 2019. Which is reviewed again at the beginning of this clip, why there is no way that 06 would have gone to negotiate something like this with the real 01. But if he claims that he really did it, it means that there is a fake 01 hiding in the temple to make the temple's deception realistic. Don't forget that the desire for a 70% share is a desire. But it arose from 06 offering it to the higher-up in exchange for convenience in creating merit-making activities throughout Thailand and the world. by agreeing to find a way to have a 70% share in return for not obstructing or creating any problems, like when O1 invited a group to create a large merit-making activity. There would be continuous problems and news to attack and discredit her, especially relying on Dr. Manow to go on the news on various channels. And didn't you notice that in the past few years, no one has seen Dr. Manow go on any program to discredit O1 again? Therefore, it is believable that Dr. Manow should have received a share from the mission that O6 did for the higher-up. So she was able to keep her mouth shut. In the various news agencies in the past, there used to be a lot of news stories discrediting Wat Phra Dhammakaya and Luang Pu Dhammajao, as well as selling news to each other to help spread false news quickly and frequently. But after 2018, there has not been any news agency that has discredited Wat Phra Dhammakaya or Luang Pu Dhammajao again. There wasn't even an episode in March 2023 when the host found a room for digging coils in the 32nd Wihan Khat of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and filmed a video clip and openly sent it to various online media outlets. But no news agency wrote or attacked this news, which in reality is news that should be reported because it is true, truer than the time when O1 invited the group to make great merit, which was written as bad news, all of which were completely untrue. And there was a lot of fanfare as if they had received orders from someone, so no agency did not follow. For this reason, it is worth thinking about. In fact, the process of discrediting Luang Pu O1 during the time when O1 was still leading the group to make merit came from the orders of above Kumari, with O6 and Dr. Manow as allies or not. So when O6 seized the power to manage the temple since 2019 and O1 is no longer at the Dhammakaya temple, everything that was previously aimed at discrediting or destroying the reputation of O1 in the Dhammakaya temple has gone quiet as if it never happened before. And the news that the higher-ups had made merit with monks and branches of the Dhammakaya temple, with the royal appointment of many monks of the Dhammakaya temple and continuously for many years, with the merit-making activities of the Dhammakaya temple that were once discredited in various aspects of society, during the period when O1 invited people to make merit. They received widespread support and news reports praising what the Dhammakaya temple had done in various aspects, which was the opposite of the period when O1 led the group to build merit throughout many years before 2019. Does this show that it was the work of O6 who was the representative of the higher-ups negotiating with O1 to give the temple and branches and a share of the donation money to the higher-ups and the higher-ups in exchange? As a result, in the following years, the objections from the monks in the temple that might have existed before have died down. If O6 raises an argument that if it weren't for this method, how would the Dhammakaya temple and this group have been able to build merit so conveniently and easily in the many years that O1 hadn't been the leader? So can what O6 did be accused of being wrong? When compared to the results obtained during the period of O1, which does everyone like more? No one likes the problematic type like in O1, right? So everything became a standard and became the standard approach of the temple for many years. If it were a worldly event, any company or organization that could organize and conduct trade shows or events that consistently generate a lot of money and generate satisfactory dividends for major shareholders, those who could do that would receive the highest rewards and promotions. But not for the organization of the Dhammakaya temple, because the main issue is merit and sin, which is the main objective of the construction of the Dhammakaya temple. Therefore, even though the process or method that O6 presented in the temple followed seemed like a big solution when the higher-ups were granted their wish, it would be like gaining followers, turning enemies into friends, and elevating them to the status of owners of the temple and branches. They would love and cherish them even more and would not let their reputation be damaged because it would directly affect the 70% share, right? And is this the reason why the higher-ups would happily protect any merit-making activities that the Dhammakaya temple would do throughout Thailand and the world? Right? And for this reason, these reciprocal benefits to promote Buddhism to spread rapidly and widely throughout the world with safety, security, confidence, and be warmly welcomed and invited without having to worry about danger anymore and forever, right? But because the organization of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and its branches are Buddhist organizations that have the main principle of creating merit, which is accumulating merit through giving alms, observing the precepts, and developing meditation with the 10 meritorious deeds and the goal of creating 30 meritorious deeds to aim for becoming a Buddha in the future, desire for Buddhahood. There must be the intention to start doing any meritorious activity with the goal of gaining merit to the fullest extent of one's potential first. And because humans in the present era have an average lifespan of only 75 years, they have to compete against time to create meritorious deeds. At 01, it is said that the real enemies of humans are time and the devil. Therefore, the focus of the meritorious deeds that 01 has thought of for the group to do will be to plant the flag and aim at how to make merit and what kind of merit will allow the children of the group to gain the most of the 30 meritorious deeds in doing meritorious deeds once and in the remaining lifespan. What great merit-making activity will gain enough merit to return to rest in the middle of the way at Dusit Heaven and be on the last express train heading to the ultimate Dharma following Luang Pu? Sod and Grandma Chan together? By not committing any sins, even a little bit, and everyone must practice Dharma to reach the Dhammakaya within themselves. The main thing is just this. When the flag is set, which is the intention to accumulate merit as the starting point, everything that will follow must also be merit alone. If there is any method or process that leads to involvement in sin or causes sin, such as breaking any of the 5 precepts or more, it will easily cause you to fall off this path immediately. And in terms of merit, if there is difficulty in making merit at any point, if there is an effort to make it successful, it will become merit attached to the person who tries to do it and succeed immediately. The difficulty or obstacle in making merit is caused by the devil, who has been the enemy of the merit side since the beginning. And whatever becomes an obstacle to the success of the merit work at any point or place is the result of the intervention of the devil, who is the sin side. Whether it is a person, animal, or any object that is used to obstruct and destroy the merit that will occur to anyone in any merit-making activity that was initiated with the pure intention of wanting merit and virtue only. People, animals, and things are all called tools of the evil-hearted devil. These are the main truths of Buddhism that humans do not know at all. Therefore, humans have become slaves of the devil in committing sins and are used by the devil to oppress people who make merit. Because when humans receive a lot of merit to the point of merit and accumulate merit to the fullest extent of 30 times in any lifetime, they will attain the Dharma and become a perfectly enlightened one. They will be free from being slaves of the devil and will be free from samsara, or the cycle of existence. This is something that the devil does not accept and finds ways to harm and destroy humans so that they cannot accumulate merit by tempting them with the 3 families of defilements: greed, anger, and delusion, so that humans will have their minds attached to these 3 defilements and will not accumulate merit. Humans will become slaves of the devil forever. When the truth is like this, we have to look at which era's intention to do merit-making activities had more problems and obstacles. It shows that the merit-making activities of that era were pure merit-making. Whoever participated in doing and struggling until reaching success would receive a great amount of merit and virtue. If the merit-making activities of any era were smooth and easy, it shows that the initial intention of that merit-making activity was not in the way of accumulating merit and virtue. Therefore, the devil did not obstruct or create obstacles. In addition, it was promoted and supported to achieve success conveniently. It further means that the merit-making activities are leading people to accumulate sins that make everyone become slaves and servants of the devil's side even more. The more it is supported to be smooth and fast, the more certain that everyone who participated in such merit-making activities will be slaves of the devil forever. They will not have to be born as humans anymore and will not have to be born as anything else again because they will have to be slaves and servants of the devil's side in return. Now that we know this, does everyone see that participating in merit-making activities in the era 01 leading to the creation of merit is true merit and virtue? Therefore, it is difficult to do and has had many obstacles all along. When it is successful, everyone therefore gained enough merit to return to Dusapuri comfortably and gracefully got on the last express train heading to the end of Dharma because of this. Therefore, the merit-making activities in the past few years, which were unusually smooth and were praised in various media outlets, were carried out so widely that no one could believe that they would receive such praise. Even those who had previously attacked, cursed, and slandered 01 during the era when 01 led the merit-making turned to congratulate and support him in many news agencies. There were unbelievable royal appointments and various promotions that almost never happened during 01's era, or before they were granted. They were so exhausted that they actually had to take their breath away. In fact, not long after they received the position, there was a criminal case that came to encroach without any wrongdoing. Just hiring someone to sue and bombard him with slanderous information through many media outlets at the same time was able to make an innocent person like 01 who had done good all his life become a wanted suspect and denied his freedom for more than 8 years. When he finally got his freedom, and should be freed because the right is in the hands of the closest and most trusted person like 02 who promised with a strong promise that no one can compare to the promise received from a person like 02. The devil can still use tricks and all kinds of black magic to deceive and decide not to close the case for 01 even though there is 180 days to do so as previously mentioned. This shows that even 02 was defeated by the sinful devil at the most important time, causing 02 to intentionally commit a sin against 01 based on the wrong view of associating with a bad person like 06 as a friend and advisor. Furthermore, he allowed a bad person like 06 to lead the group to build merit in the wrong way because he had already set the initial intention of what merit-making activity would result in the results of the donated wealth that gave 70% to the higher being satisfactory and consistent. Because if it is not satisfactory or too little, it may not be satisfactory. Or if it can be done sometimes and not sometimes, it will be dissatisfied. And it will have a negative effect, which is causing problems and obstacles in creating any merit-making work. Just like in the era when 01 was the leader in building merit all along. If anyone feels intimidated and does not want to build merit under pressure or obstacles like in 01's era, it shows that that person is not a builder of merit, does not understand building merit, and does not understand the ultimate goal of Dhamma at all, does not know about the 30 aspects of merit, and does not wish to be a Buddha in the future. Therefore, such a person should not be in the inner area, should not use merit at Wat Phra Dhammakaya, because Wat Phra Dhammakaya was built to support those who have built merit together with 01 to come together to build merit with 01 once again. Where 01 uses his merit according to those who have built merit with him in previous lives long ago, to come together to build merit together again in this life. If anyone is born, they will meet each other because the merit line will attract them to come together to build merit again. Those who have built merit together with 01 will not be discouraged, shaken, or intimidated by any problems or obstacles in building merit. There will be only a sense of steadfastness and following the principles that O1 has taught all along without being careless, because there is a firm goal that will never waver. Therefore, those who are the latter type will understand and be familiar with building merit together with O1 in the era when O1 is the leader. While those who are the former type will try to refuse or not want to be involved. From Kian Tawan's experience, she saw very clearly that it was the people of Ket Nai who were not the true merit builders who had built merit together with O1 before. Furthermore, in 2009, all Ket Nai still listened to O6 in not cooperating with O1 in inviting people to ordain in the 7,000 monks ordination project in 7,000 sub-districts and the free monk ordination project throughout Thailand since the first generation onwards. And the reason given was just an excuse to avoid doing difficult work, that is, citing the reason for not cooperating with O1 just because O1 did not bring the project to be announced in the kindergarten to the temple committee meeting first. But in fact, deep down in his heart, O6 cited this issue so that he would not have to make any more big merits. O6 did not look at the accumulation of merit, did not care whether he would gain more merit or not. Only looked at how much money the temple would have to spend if he did as O1 suggested, and did not want to lose the money. But he used that reason to blame and criticize O1 as a front for O6 himself, because the basic mind of O6 is sinful. A servant of the devil, and will do everything that the devil puts in his heart to think, speak and do everything to overthrow, destroy or discredit O1 so that he will not be able to successfully do meritorious work. Therefore, the process that O6 thinks, speaks and does comes from the devil's side, inspiring his heart, forcing his heart to think, speak and do everything that destroys the merit of the group so that all the hard work to gain great merit to reach the highest level of Dhamma can be done. Since before O1 was charged with evading arrest warrant and until this year 2568, it has been clear all along that the devil has truly succeeded because he has led almost all of the group that used to be on the last express train with O1, following Luang Pu Sad and Grandma Chan to the end of Dhamma, to get off the train and go to the opposite train instead, almost all of them. The thing that will have a very serious impact is about to happen when the group of the merit-making group of Luang Pu Sad and Grandma Chan and Luang Por Damajeo. Most of them are taken to accumulate sins together with the activities that were created from the original intention of O6, which focused on doing merit-making activities that would give 70% of the donation money that would make the higher-ups and the Kumari receive satisfaction consistently every year, all year, and forever. When O6 expanded the idea that it was the only thing or the only way that would allow the group to continue to build merit smoothly and safely, with the Mafia backing them, they would not have to fear anyone wherever they went, and built a base of followers and expanded the base of power to cover every temple throughout Thailand, so that they would all become followers of Wat Phra Dhammakaya with various merit-making events and offerings. It caused them to feel complacent that they had become followers of Wat Phra Dhammakaya by their own understanding that being in the same group as Luang Por Damajeo or O1, they will probably receive donations to help with the expenses of small temples throughout Thailand. They will no longer have to struggle to find donations. But has anyone thought that whenever all temples throughout Thailand agree to be in the same group as the Dhammakaya temple to the point where it is time, all temples throughout Thailand will have the same status as the branch temples of the Dhammakaya temple, which will have to share 70% of the temple's donated assets back to the higher-ups as well. And why are you sure that the intention to share 70% with the higher-ups is sinful? The simple answer is that the donated assets obtained from the announcement to invite people to do merit-making must be used only for that merit-making purpose. so that it will create merit for the donor. But what actually happened was that the donors were not aware of the truth about who would be given the donated assets because the temple did not clearly announce this matter. But the temple actually did that behind the scenes, so it became a behavior that violated the second precept, which is stealing assets that were not given. The donated assets that were given by the donors to gain merit, as mentioned, were for that purpose only. No one intended or consented to give that asset to anyone. Not for the merit making that was announced, that is, if the temple clearly announced that there would be a 70% donation to the heavens to make the religious work go smoothly. And the relatives and devotees knew and willingly agreed, so they donated. This would not be considered a violation of the second precept. Importantly, not telling the truth that there would be a 70% donation to the heavens in each new merit-making event that was announced is like intentionally concealing or lying, which is also a violation of the fourth precept. When any new merit-making activity arises from the initial intention to find a share of wealth to the heavens, it becomes a sinful intention to start with. Therefore, that merit-making activity will not have merit from the beginning, even though it has the same format as the merit-making event that was familiar throughout the era of O1. And many great merit-making events that never happened before in the era of O1 brought merit first, were all done for the goal of having a 70% share that was calculated and set as the main goal. Gradually, it was compared with the possibility of raising funds for merit, who would make merit, and during what period of time would produce the desired results, with that amount of share without error. Therefore, the form of the event and the name of the merit would gradually arise, which would motivate donors to support and achieve the goal for sure. Therefore, the activity will be announced at the right time, all of which must have been meticulously planned by O6. The owner of this idea and the representative of the higher-up, Kumari, who will make everything follow the agreement that he claimed to have negotiated with O1 since 2021. Both the form of the merit-making, the type of merit-making activity, when, and who it is due to, all come from the brain of O6, who is a wrong-minded person who is a force of the devil. Therefore, it is certain that every new merit-making activity, meaning a new name or a new, large number that has never been done this much before in the era of O1 as the leader of merit-making, those are all sinful activities. And everyone who has participated in a merit-making activity that started with sinful intentions will abandon all their merit and take sin from the sinful merit-making activity every time. Continue listening in the next clip.